Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Was Broken by the people that he loved. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way over on Anime King 3 and Anime King 2. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3. Which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah. Without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto and Sasuke had fought, and Naruto had won and brought him back to the village. Sasuke even thanked him for bringing him back after a while. As they had grown, the Akatsuki was still out there, they were still a threat, but at least they were coping with it, as Naruto had went into Anbu, and he had shattered every past record made by Sakumo and any other Anbu members. He had become one of the legends in the village. His power, pushing above everyone as he became incredibly strong. But there was people in the village that hurt him badly. He didn't have anything left. People might thought that he was happy because he was one of the strongest, but no. Things happened that hurt him. Sasuke didn't even know about it. Sasuke and Sakura were gonna get married, but yet they called off the marriage. Sasuke said that he knew how Sakura felt. Something happened in the past when Sasuke wasn't here. Ino was involved, as well as Hinata, who was now married to Kiba. That was shocking news. Well, Naruto was trying to cope with it, but he couldn't anymore. So he ended up leaving the village after knocking out Sasuke, who reported to Tsunade. Tsunade had to name Naruto a missing link. The reason being the elders were on her back, including Danzo. They would find any opportunity to try to get her out, and if she was out of the position, things would be worse on Naruto. So she gave Sasuke the mission to bring him back before anyone else, so they could handle the situation, but Naruto was strong, incredibly so. So to be hard, she told Sasuke that Akatsuki was still a threat. Despite how strong Naruto was, the unknown was still powerful, as Naruto had gone to the land of Wave. As 2 members had came from Koyuki, as they were trying to ask for help, as Doton on the rise again, but Naruto denied going there, as they couldn't believe it. They left after a while. They thought he was supposed to be some kind of hero, but Naruto saw the ring of the member. It was the Akatsuki. They were setting a trap for him to catch him, but he was not going to fall into the trap so easily, but he was going to help Koyuki same way. Shikamaru and the team end up finding Naruto the moment he left the wave. As Naruto was wearing his face mask, he looked like some kind of demon with his red eyes. Ino wouldn't even say anything, she wouldn't even look him in the eyes. As they fought, Naruto brutally defeated Shikamaru and Choji. They didn't stand a chance against him, but yet he didn't want to go too far into hurting them. Despite everything, he was still not the person that would just outright slaughter them. But still, he was not the person that would hold back that much not to hurt them. As Ino saw everything, she begged him to come back. She told him that she was about to say love, but he cut her off and told her never to say those words. After everything that happened, she had no right to say them, as she kept her mouth. And with that, Naruto walked away, because she had no chance of stopping him no matter what. So yeah guys, that was basically last we left off. You guys can switch across and please check out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? It was a new day, as Naruto felt a small weight on his chest as he woke up. He looked down to see the green hair. Memories started to flood his mind of what happened, as he looked down towards a small child, as she yawned cutely and held on to his black shirt. Naruto never thought, after leaving Konoha, that he would end up becoming a dad. Flashback. It's been a couple of days since he was attacked by the Inoshikacho. Everywhere he went, The bandits, the thief, the mercenaries, they came out of the woodwork, thinking that he was someone to be taken advantage of, like he was an easy prey. But he showed them. Because they didn't know that they made the biggest mistake of their life, attacking someone like him. He actually enjoyed the brief battles with the fools that attacked him, but they were rather weak though. He did not spare them though, he slaughtered all of them. Being in Anvu, Naruto wasn't shocked by killing. And these men were the worst of the worst. And they were the ones that took small children, people hostage. They were rapists. So he enjoyed taking them out. He took what he could from the bodies, before incinerating them with a fire jutsu. And they were always filled with money. And it was a lot. Like a lot. But his mind was not still in the proper state. After seeing the Inshikacho, he had teleported once he was done. He was physically and mentally exhausted, more mentally though. After seeing Ino again, it had been 2 years since she betrayed him. They had been together a year prior. She was the final girl of the group. Each of them had taken their turns to decimate his heart. Seeing her again had brought back so much pain that he thought that he could keep buried away. But he guessed he could not. He tried to force the memories back though, as he just kept on walking. After a long walk, the sun was setting. He came to a stop when he heard an argument as he sensed several chakra signatures ahead of him. As he arrived to see some bandits, they were cursing at each other over some dispute, over what he didn't exactly know. He watched as they started to slaughter each other, as they fought. As Naruto stepped forward out of the woodworks, he pulled his blade, as he slaughtered all of them. No talking, no hesitation. He spared one of them because his chakra signature was the largest. And Naruto had a plan for the future, to deal with the Akatsuki, and this man might be useful. The man was shaking to his core, as he was afraid, as he just saw this blur appear. Not to mention Naruto was wearing his mask, as he looked like a scary demon. The red eyes made it even worse. "I want to meet with your boss," said Naruto, as he held on to the man. The others that he had found, they weren't that much important, so they didn't really know the boss of the gang. But this man, he was strong. Stronger than the other ones that Naruto had met so far. "Tell him, I'm looking for employment. Give him my name, Naruto Uzumaki. If I do not hear from him or you in 3 days, I will find you. And you won't like it," said Naruto. The man was shaking in fear as he saw the red eyes looking at him, as he placed a small flare in the palm of the man's hands. "Don't lose that," said Naruto. "It may cost you your life if you do. If you have news regarding your leader, respond. Toss that high in the air." "Understood," said Naruto. The man nodded slowly as he shakily got up to his feet. Got it," he said. "Go," said Naruto. The man ran. He ran for his dear life. After the man had ran off, Naruto sat down at the fire that the bandits had created, as he would have to go to the river to wash himself off of the blood. The wild animals around these parts, the stench of blood got them going crazy, and he didn't want to have to deal with them all night. Just as he was about to make himself comfortable, he heard a scream. It sounded like a child. He got to his feet and focused, as he sensed a child, but there wasn't one chakra signature, there was 2. As Naruto raced off to find what was going on, despite how he had closed his emotion off, he couldn't just stand there and let a child be harmed. No matter what had happened to him, he was not that heartless. As Naruto raced through the forest and came upon a clearing, as Naruto arrived to a strange sight, out in the field was a strange man. He had long black hair that looked grayish. The man had 2 horns, one of them were broken off. He also had a strange skull mask that covered half of his face. As Naruto looked towards the man, he also had a strange X scar on his chest. And he didn't have any arms, he had 3 stumps on the left side of his body and 2 on the right side. It seems that they were arms, but they were severed off. As Naruto was confused, the man had a sight attached to one of his stumps. As he was chasing after something, as Naruto saw what he was chasing after, it was a young child. The girl stumbled and fell, as Naruto vanished. Meanwhile, the strange man stood over the girl. "Nell, it's finally time that you die. You little bitch," he said. The man's name was Noicha Gilga. As he brought the sight down, clang! It clashed against something. The small girl had closed her eyes. As the man stated her name was Nell. As she heard the clashing, the small green-haired girl opened her eyes as she thought that she would have been killed. Standing between her and Noitra was a strange man dressed in black with blonde hair, wearing a face mask that was similar to the one on top of her head. This man also had a huge Zanpakuto that was blocking Noicha's Zanpakuto from hitting her. The former Espada, number 5, looked towards Naruto as he started to exert pressure. But Naruto was doing the same thing. As he snarled, realizing he could not bring down this human. I don't know who you are, but this doesn't concern you, human. Now leave before I kill you. Brave words, Spider-Man, said Naruto. Or should I call you Stumpy, considering majority of your arms have been hacked off. Foolish human. Let me attend to that little bitch behind you. And once I absorb her powers and regrow my limbs, I will show you why you should have left when I offer you the chance. Then I'll track down the Jingle Bell, hair-wearing freak that did this to me, and hack him to pieces as well. I'm afraid I can't do that, Stumpy. I highly doubt killing the girl is gonna get you what you want. Besides, if that is what it takes for you to get power, it's probably best I finish you off now. Foolish human, that girl isn't even human. She's an Anrankar. As am I. And you have no idea the power we possess at our full strength. He's right, kid. I heard of these Anrankar, and I can sense great power in the little girl, but it's dormant. I don't think she knows how to access it. I don't think it would be wise to allow him to achieve the power that he wants, said the Kyuubi. Well, I wouldn't have let him succeed anyway, said Naruto. What? Sorry, Stumpy. I wasn't talking to you, said Naruto. And then don't give a damn if that girl is a human, an Anrankar, or whatever. I won't let you kill her, said Naruto. Noicha jumped back as he grabbed his Zanpakuto tighter as he spat with hate. Meddlesome human. I'm going to enjoy killing you. Yeah, tell me something. You say that you can regrow your arms, but can you regrow your head? What? He couldn't get to finish that word as Naruto appeared in front of him in a yellow flash. As Naruto swung his blade, an instantly cut right through his neck in one swinging motion. Nell was shocked as she watched her former Espada member head roll off as her body then finally gave up on her as she fell asleep. As Naruto heard something stumped on the ground as he turned to see the girl sleeping. What am I supposed to do now, he thought to himself. Quit whining and take her back to your camp. You and I both know you won't leave her out here, said Grandma. Time skip a little while later as Naruto leaned back against a tree as Nell was sleeping peacefully on his futon. Meanwhile, the fox was praising Naruto for his merciless slaughter of Noicha and how much grace he did it with. I just can't see people prey upon the instance while I'm around. Well, if you're so damn noble, why are you planning to join a group of thieves and murderers that do just that? Because I need an army, and one hell of an army if I plan to go to the spring and free Koyuki and her people from the Akatsuki. So I need to find some potential allies, and this bandit king and his man that I've heard about so much in the past few days sounds exactly like what I want. An interesting battle. Well, guess I'll just sit back and enjoy the view. Although, I would have joined if I wasn't sealed away by your wretched father. Well, you were the one that attacked the Leaf Village, said Naruto. You already know that wasn't my fault, but that damn Madara Uchiha. Naruto nodded silently in agreement as he tossed more broken branches in the flames. He then checked its blade for any dents and scratches. Looking at the blade, as Naruto looked at Zabuza, Zanpakuto, it fit perfectly for the path that he was beginning to walk. Once he freed the Spring Concha and eliminated the Akatsuki, he will forge his own destiny and go where he please, leaving everything else up to fate. A few hours later, Nell, as she woke up to smelling food being cooked in the pot, as she sat up with a yawn, she looked around. Are you hungry, little one? Nell squeaked at hearing that voice as she turned to see that same man that saved her from Noicha. She wasn't so sure about this strange man, but she wasn't afraid of him. He scooped a healthy portion of what he had been cooking in a plate. With a glass of water as he brought it over to her, as he placed it in front of her, he then walked over to share himself a food as well. He then pulled off his mask. Go ahead, he said, eat. I may not be the best cook in the world, but I promise, it's edible. She sniffed the food before she reached out her hand and grabbed a chunk of it and stuffed it in her mouth, making her cheeks bulge out, as Naruto chuckled at that. Hey, no need to eat so much in one bite. And you can use a fork like I do, he said, as he pointed towards a fork that was there. By the way, what's your name? As Nell tilted her head to the side, as she looked over him, as Naruto looked towards her, she was, well, different. She didn't seem afraid of him, despite him decapitating someone. She didn't react at all to that. Not to mention she wasn't afraid of him or his mask. My name is Nelliel, but most people call me Nell, she said. Well, Nelliel, said Naruto. That's a pretty name. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, but most people call me Naruto. She blushed at him calling her pretty. You think I'm pretty, Naruto? She said. I think you're very pretty, Nail-chan. Can I call you Nail-chan? He said. She nodded her head and smiled. Can you tell me where you're from? Or where your parents or family members are? A sad look came on her face, as tears started to well up in her eyes. He felt bad about making her cry. Nell is from a place called Los Noches, but I don't want to go back. It's not a nice place. Nell doesn't have anyone looking for her. Ichigo, Pechi, Don the Chaka, Bawa Bawa, they're all gone. From the Iron Car War with the Soul Society, Nell has been alone for a very long time, she said. He heard the sadness in her tone, the same that he had, as he pondered on what he should do. The fox grumbled in annoyance. It's not like you're gonna leave her here. As Naruto realized he was right. You really don't have anyone, Nell-chan, he said. As Nell sniffled a bit. Nell has no one anymore, she said. As Naruto looked towards Nell, the fox decided to make him have no choice, as he put an image in his mind of Nell being all alone. As strange people, many of them coming from the woodworks surrounding her. That's a low blow, you dirty fox, said Naruto. But the fox with the picture had done his trick, and Naruto knew that he couldn't just leave her here. But he scratched the back of his head. How can he be a father to someone when he was still, well, young himself? As he hadn't yet figured out his life or things that he was gonna do. As Naruto looked towards his mask, Nell wasn't freaked out by him beheading someone or his creepy mask. Not to mention the voice that he heard. It was faint, but ever since he put on this mask, he heard that tiny voice. It was gone now, but it wasn't the fox, so he wasn't sure exactly what it was. As he looked towards his mask, it was almost similar to the one that Nell was wearing on top of her head. As Naruto knelt down right in front of Nell. Nell-chan, if you don't want to be alone anymore, you could come with me, said Naruto. Would you like that, he asked. Nell looked up with wide eyes as she was trembling a bit. The chance to no longer be alone. She liked this Naruto and wanted to stay with him. But then she remembered Ichigo and the others that she lost. As she grew scared. If she went with him, what if she lose him as well? The blonde Jinchuriki noticed a change in her demeanor. What's wrong, Nell? He said. Do you not wish to be with me? Nell would like to be with you very much, Naruto. But Nell is very scared. What will happen to Nell if you go away like Ichigo and the others? Nell would be all alone once again. I promise you, he said. I won't go away like Ichigo and the others. You promise? It's a promise of a lifetime, Nell. I swear, he said. As Nell launched herself towards him and hugged him. Naruto smiled as she held on to his shirt. In the flashback, that is how it happened. How Naruto became little Iron Car girl as his daughter. As content as Nell was, he was still thinking about the situation that he got himself in. As he knew a daughter must always be protected by her father. As he wondered what he was going to do now. Becoming a father wasn't exactly part of his plan. But things were set up that way right now. He didn't mind taking care of her. But he just didn't know how. As he closed his eyes. A minute later he felt a tug on his shirt. As Nell was right in front of his face. As he looked towards her, he didn't really know much things to do. Are you hungry, Nell-chan? He said. As she nodded quickly, the both of their stomachs then grumbled. As the both of them laughed. As Naruto picked her up and placed her on his shoulder. As he gave her the ration bar. She opened it as she started Showdown. As she loved being up this high. Let's go, Naruto. Believe it, she said. As Naruto blinked in surprise as he heard her saying that. He used to say that. As he gathered his things and took off with his new daughter on the road. Alright, Nell-chan, he said, let's go. Hopefully, we can find some place to eat soon with decent food. As he placed his mask on. Alright, Nell-chan, he said. Hold on tight. I'm gonna be moving fast. Nell held on to him as she went on his back. Let's go, she said, as she was filled with energy. She was certainly energetic, he thought to himself. As he pushed off the road. As Nell squealed in delight. After a while, Naruto heard a voice. It whispered in his mind as he stopped kicking up dust. Nell coughed. Naruto-kun, she coughed. Why did we stop? As she looked around, confused why they suddenly just stopped like that. As Naruto felt something but he could not see anything as he was confused. Do you feel that? Naruto asked Grandma. What are you talking about, kid? I feel nothing. Perhaps you're delusional. Naruto shook his head as Nell looked down towards him confused. I don't need sleep, I'm wide awake. Someone is here, something, he said. Well, I sense nothing, said Grandma. As Naruto started to grow frustrated as he snapped his head to the side. Something was watching him, but he could not see anything. Well, I do, said Naruto, and I'm gonna find it as he looked around. As Naruto closed his eyes, as he went still. As Naruto felt that his eyes were closed. It was a ways off, not moving. Was it a threat? He was not sure, but something or someone was there. As he wasn't sure who it was. He opened his eyes to see Nell right in front of his face, as she was leaning over his head. Naruto-kun, she said, are you okay? Naruto gave a smile as he reached up and ruffled Nell's green hair, causing her to giggle. I'm fine, Nell, he said. I'm just looking for someone. Nell leaned over and gave him a kiss on his forehead. Is Naruto-kun lonely? Does he need a wife, Chan? She asked. Naruto almost fell face first in the ground. Nell, I can't just grab a wife out of the blue, he said. Why not? Nell asked. Why not? Why not? She said, as she kept on repeating herself. As memories flashed into his mind. Because that is not how things work, he said. Raising his voice a bit, she stopped. Nell didn't mean to make Naruto angry, she said, as she sniffled back. Stupid, 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 Naruto cursed himself in his mind, as he picked her off his head, and brought her around, as he started to tickle her, as Nell laughed. Stop it, it tickles, she said as she burst out laughing, as he tickled her for a whole 2 minutes, so she wouldn't cry. As Nell panted, as she was smiling happily. As Naruto knew exactly why the reason why he snapped like that. Memories. Flashback. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I can no longer be with you. What are you talking about, Hinata-chan? My father has placed me into an arranged marriage. I will be getting married next week. Married? What do you mean? With who? Said Naruto. Hinata finally looked up towards his face as she saw the pain. She reached out to touch his cheek, tears in her eyes. With Kiba, she said. What? But you don't love Kiba, you love me. It doesn't matter who I love, Naruto-kun. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters, said Naruto. No, it does not. Because next week I'll be getting married to Kiba, and nothing can change that. Of course we can change that. We'll go to Batchin for help. Or, we'll just run away together, he said. But you don't have to get married to Kiba, especially when you don't love him. You don't have to do this, you love me. And I love you, he said. I'm sorry, she said. Lady Snatty can't do anything. I have no choice. You do have a choice. Why don't you stand up to your father and tell him no? Because I can't. Why? Said Naruto. I'm sorry, she said. I cannot tell you. I can't refuse my father in this matter. As Naruto couldn't understand, why couldn't she tell him? After everything they've been through. You mean you won't refuse him as always, he said. Anger seeping into his tone. Please believe me, Naruto-kun. I do love you with all of my heart and soul, she said. Yeah, you love me. But not enough to refuse your father or your clan. To get married to someone that you don't even love, he said. I'm sorry, she said as she turned. As Naruto felt something inside him broke. In the flashback. As Naruto stood there, feeling the pain. Another memory flashed into his mind. I love you, Ino-chan. I'm sorry I wasn't able to say those words to you 6 months ago. When you uttered them to me, I was just too scared and wrapped up in the pain of what happened with Hinata. But being with you have saved me from the pain and despair. I never thought it would go away. I know this seems sudden, but you are right. And I do love you, Ino-chan, he said. He leaned over and placed his lips against hers. This was difficult for Ino to accept, as she cursed herself as she felt the sensation of his lips that warmed her very soul. She broke the kiss though. Naruto, she said. Yes, he said, as he looked towards her. Tears started to run down her cheek. What's wrong, he said. I'm not in love with you anymore, she said. Naruto went quiet for a whole minute as he looked towards her, wondering if he misheard her or something. What do you... He couldn't even find the words. Did I do something, he said, finally able to speak. Tell me what it is. I can fix it, he said. You didn't do anything, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I still love you as a friend, but not anything else, she said. Why? Because I'm in love with someone else, she said. But the way she said it, it was like she was trying to convince herself, not him. At that moment, Shikamaru, came out from the bushes, entering training ground. As he could not look at Naruto. As Naruto stepped back, as Naruto's hand was in his pocket, he pulled out something. It was an engagement ring. As he dropped it and walked away, he looked utterly broken. In the flashback, another image passed Naruto's mind. He had promised that he would bring Sasuke back, and he did. As Sakura rushed past him and moved towards the injured Sasuke. What a pathetical bullshit. As Naruto blinked, as he was now white, empty plain, confused. As he looked around, all around him was images of Hinata, Sakura, Ino. They were moving so fast. "Who are you?" said Naruto as he looked around, as more images of his past roared through his head. A dark silhouette appeared, but there was no features. It was just dark. The aura was tainted with darkness. "I never thought sipping through your head like this would be a chore. You really are an idiot at sometimes, as your woman did a number on you." "Who are you?" said Naruto. "Where am I?" As an image of him letting Ino go walking away. After she said those words to him, everything was zipping away through his mind, screaming at Sakura before he finally snapped and went rogue, standing outside the temple at Hinata's wedding. Just standing there broken, unable to do anything about it, as he saw her eyes gaze with his, but she turned them away, unable to look at him. Grief overcame him as he placed his hand over his ears. "I am truly disappointed," the voice said. The figure then started to take shape, as Naruto nearly fell back in shock. It was Zabuza, but something was different about him. His normal uniform was gone. He was wearing a black kimono, and he just seemed sad. "Are you the one that has been talking to me?" said Naruto. Zabuza snorted. The snort could be seen over the wrappings that he wore on the lower half of his face. "Oh look, we have a winner." "Why are you doing this?" said Naruto as he looked around. Zabuza poked him right in the chest. "I let you take this weapon for your own, because I remember your will of fire. When you battled me and Haku all those years ago, I thought you would prove to be a better master of it than I ever was. But if these little memories of these women playing you for a fool are too much for you to handle, I guess I might have overestimated you." Naruto's head snapped towards him, its sadness replaced with rage. "I may have made some mistake with the women I chose to love, some really stupid mistake, but I've put that behind me. Right now I have a friend that needs my help, and I won't be done in by some old, rotting corpse of a ninja." "I'm not the old rotting corpse of a ninja," said Zabuza. "I am the soul, or spirit of that ninja. I only exist in the confines of my Zanpakuto, which you know well. Because you know all my blade, I'm able to link up with your mind alone. That is why your fox or no one else in the living world can sense me." "Then what do you want from me?" said Naruto. "What I want is my blade to reach its full potential and power, and I think you have that capability to unlock it. You certainly show more promise than I ever did when I was alive." "Then what's up with the torture session of the memories?" said Naruto. "And why contact me like this?" "Because I can only contact you once before I fade away to another plane of existence. As for the memories that you suffer, I want to know if you are mentally and emotionally strong enough to face what's about to come. To be honest, I'm still not fully convinced, but I have little choice. Take this." Zabuza handed him a piece of parchment. It was a paper that looked like it was really old, and yet it still held together. As Naruto unfolded, it was a map. He looked up towards Zabuza, who started to fade away. "Oi, what's up with the map?" "Listen well. Follow that map. It will lead you to an old hideaway of mine. Last I checked, it was still in pretty decent condition. You will meet a man there. Show him that blade and he will let you pass. From there on, you will start your journey to unlock the full power of your Zanpakuto, a power you will need for your upcoming battles if you wish to save your friend." "Hey, I still have some questions," said Naruto, but Zabuza faded away. "Those are not for me to answer," his voice echoed in the air. "Farewell." Naruto's eyes snapped open as he saw Nell was talking. What seemed like minutes to him was just seconds in the real world, as Naruto realized he was holding on to the map in his hand. "Oi," Nell said. "What's that?" But Nell wasn't talking about the map, she was talking about his headband. As she gripped onto it, she accidentally pulled as the fabric became loose. As it slipped off his neck, only a few seconds passed here. "But it felt like I spent 10 minutes in whatever that was," said Naruto to himself. Nell was oblivious to that, as she was playing with the headband. "It's really pretty. Can you keep it, Naruto-kun?" she said. As Naruto looked down towards her, he smiled. "You want to wear my headband?" he said. "Mm-hmm," she said. But, what is this?" said Naruto. "I don't know what to tie a knot." "Don't worry," said Naruto. A minute later, as Nell was happy as she wore the headband around her throat, just like her adopted father was wearing it. As Nell looked over him, "Where did we get the map?" she asked. "From a friend of mine," said Naruto. "When are we gonna get breakfast?" she said. "Soon." "How long?" said Nell. "Oh boy," said Naruto, "this is gonna be a long day." As Naruto ran, Nell was cheering him on. "Faster, faster," she said, as Naruto chuckled at some of the cleavage chakra flood his system. "Hold on tight." She gripped on tight to him, as Naruto's feet leave dents in the ground as he moved, his speed whipping through the trees. Meanwhile, Madara Uchiha frowned as he sat in the throne room of Princess Fujikage. It has been a week since contact was made, but Zetsu report said that Naruto hasn't even shown up at the port. It would appear that he smelled a trap. Sly little devil, Madara thought to himself. Apparently, that stupid Jinchuriki was no longer the idiot he once was. Because if he was, he would have come running here as fast as his legs or a boat would take him. He was always headstrong, and it should be easy for the remaining members of the Akatsuki to capture. But it was not, and Madara was pissed off. Apparently, somewhere along the way the kid had learned caution, and he was no use in it. Quite well. Looks like this won't be as easy as I thought. But it did not matter. He may have gotten one over on him in the past already, but he will get him, and once he was in his clutches, he chuckled darkly as he looked towards the land of spring, which was now once more covered in deadly blizzards. Avalanches all over. Sooner or later he will come. It doesn't matter. His rant was interrupted as Zetsu emerged from the ground. "What is it?" As Zetsu hesitated before speaking, it seems like he had bad news. Madara stomped his foot into the ground as he cracked the floor. "You lost her, didn't you?" Zetsu nodded as he waited for something to come, but nothing ever did. "Leader Sama," he said, "tell Shigetsu and Deidara to keep on pursuing her. Failure is not an option. I want her found. Now!" Zetsu nodded as he quickly left, as Madara Uchiha sat there, furious about what has happened so far. First, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki had become smarter, and now they lost her, as he clenched his fist in rage. Time skip, as Naruto looked towards the map, confused. Through the abandoned factory? What the hell? Nell seemed more excited. "What's the factory?" she said, as the scene that he came upon was a dreary, grey one. A dark, abandoned factory that sat in coated mist. It seems like a former place that people used to live, but now there was just bushes all around. The place seemed almost haunted. Meanwhile, on the inside, someone was afraid, and she prayed that she had lost them. She was holding on to her ankle as her hand was glowing green, trying to heal it, but the wall was exploded as someone stepped inside. It was more than one, it was two of them, wearing the Akatsuki cloak. "Looks like you're out of luck," said Deidara as he reached into his clay pouch. "You're running for a long time. You gave us a lot of trouble back there," the other member said. The woman spat right in his face as Deidara cursed. "You little bitch," he said. Shigetsu raised Samehata as he now had his shark skin bleed. He once again felt grateful that Madara had blessed him with one of the legendary blades after Kisame had fell in the Fourth Great Shinobi War. The woman stiffened as he placed the blade right in front of her face. She was in no condition to fight them. She needed help, as she muttered the words, but Deidara heard her. Help? Who would help a Jinchuriki? As she felt the power surging inside of her. "Get away!" she shouted as blue aura exploded around her. But it brought out something fearsome. Two blue tails came crashing down. Her appearance became more fearsome as she looked towards them. But the next second the blue chakra flickered out, as her body felt exhausted, as she could barely stand, looking down towards her hands. Her one last chance, as she watched it fade away right in front of her eyes. "No," she said. She had nothing left. Shigetsu chuckled. "Thanks for the meal," he said, as the chakra was sucked into the bandages that wrapped the blade. "Now, since you won't behave, I think I need to take a leg or her arm." As he smirked, he brought the blade down onto her. She felt defeated as she just closed her eyes waiting for the pain. But she heard something in front of her grinding. But she didn't feel any pain as she opened her eyes to realize someone was in front of her. A blonde man, wearing black. Nell was up in a tree as she watched both of you ganging up on her. I'm disappointed, said Naruto. Well, seems I might have to join the party. As she watched, something poofed beside her as someone helped her up. It was a clone of the man. As Nell looked on in safety from the tree that she was watching in. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Snelly was horrified as she received the news. He knocked out Shikamaru and he beat Choji so bad, he's in a coma. Ino nodded sadly. It had taken her 3 days to bring her fellow members back to Leaf Village. She was tired mentally, physically, from this whole ordeal with Naruto. Yes, that was all Ino could softly say. Snelly shook her head as she looked towards a photo of Jiraiya and Naruto. He has changed from these past few years. Hokage-sama, she said, I would like to request permission to pursue Naruto. Maybe I will be able to... Absolutely not, said Snelly, cutting her off. You are part of the damn reason why he's like this. You would not go after him. In fact, after what has happened, I should recall Team Guy before they head after him. A knock was heard at the door as she turned her right upon it. What is it? An Anfu burst to the door, unaware of the current situation. Lady Hokage, Hinata Inuzaka has been missing for the past few days from the village. We've only learned of this when we saw few Inuzakas attempting to leave to pursue her. Under Anfu questioning her husband, the Inuzaka heir Kiba Inuzaka believed that she has gone off to pursue the missing in Naruto Uzumaki. For a moment everything was quiet, until Snelly screamed, What? Time skip. Despite that his sword was being held at bay, Suigetsu really believed that he could take whoever this was. It looks like little Nibe has a bodyguard. His eyes narrowed as he noticed a blade. That's Zabuza Senpai blade. What is a peasant like you doing wielding one of the legendary blades? Just for touching it, I shall kill you, said Suigetsu, as Naruto clone picked her up and brought her away, as he rested her alongside a nearby tree. Well, they're better in my hands than yours, said Naruto, and I'm no bodyguard. I was just passing through, and I saw you two ladies picking on that poor injured girl over there. But I wonder, why are the women of the Akatsuki attacking her? I thought I would step in and ask. She's a Jinjulki like you, kid. The fox said before you went quiet for a second. Yes, of the two-tailed cat, the Nibe. As Naruto relished his chance to blow off some steam, I knew better to unleash it on than the organization who was hunting him and his kind. The death of these two would make for a fine message sent to Madara. A message that said, you were next. Deidara and Suigetsu did not enjoy the verbal stab that Naruto was making about their gender. We're not women, the both of them shouted at the same time. Really? Are you sure? Said Naruto. I mean, you both look like girls. We're not! Okay, if you say so, said Naruto. No need to get your panties in a twist. Suigetsu growled in rage as he pulled back his blade. Suigetsu. As Suigetsu paused. I recognize this guy. Yeah. He's a 9-tailed Jinjulki. I haven't seen him since the war, but I'm sure it's him. Naruto Uzumaki. Huh? This is the guy that defeated Sasuke and the leader back in the war? Yeah, I'm sure of it, remember. We need him alive as well as an Nibe vessel, so don't kill him. We have to take him back. Suigetsu growled at that. As Deidara looked towards Naruto. Deidara had been killed by Sasuke some years ago. If it was not for the Edo Tensei that Madara used to revive him, he wouldn't be alive right now. Deidara was also told by Madara that he was not as efficient in a technique like Orochimaru or his protege Kabuto, so if he was killed, he wouldn't be coming back. But this brat here was able to stop the war. Lucky enough, Madara got away in the end. As Naruto took in a breath before releasing, Deidara felt like chakra surging inside of Naruto. Well, this complicated things. The woman, on the other hand, she was trying to stand up to warn him, but the clone stopped her. Idiot, she said. She looked towards him. Run! Run away! I'm a Jinjulki, and I couldn't beat them. What makes you... She froze, as red chakra started build around his body. Think you can win, she stopped in shock. As 4 tails of red chakra emerged from him. He's a Jinjulki as well, she thought. He raised a thumb, and for a second she could have sworn that he smiled, even though he was wearing a mask. True, said Naruto. His tone sounded like he was a teacher, lecturing a student, but he only have the navy, he said, as his skin started to peel away, but strangely enough his clothing was still there, intact, as he was still standing on his 2 feet. But I have the nine-tailed demon fox, and with its power there is nothing I cannot do, especially against someone weak as her, as he once again insulted Shigetsu. As Shigetsu swings Samihata, it ripped through the air, ready to take Naruto's head off, his rage getting the better of him, as Deidara was standing back as he watched the battle unfold in front of him. As Naruto ducked, the blow whipped over his head. Shigetsu, we need him alive. He will be no good to us if you lop off his head, Deidara shouted angrily. Shigetsu didn't care anymore. He only wanted to get Zabuza's sword back. This unworthy peasant had it as he swung the blade. As the battle continued, rain clouds started to come in, blocking off the morning sun, and the sky started to darken. Thunder started to rumble. Lightning started crackling in the sky, as everyone was shocked as Naruto vanished. His speed was abnormal. Shigetsu was sailing like a rag doll as he crashed through a tree. He picked himself up quickly though, cursing as he teared right through the tree with Samihata. The moment he blinked, Naruto was in front of him. You're done, as he brought the blade down. But Shigetsu wasn't afraid as the blade sliced right through him, his body turning into water. Shigetsu smirked triumphantly. Still think I'm weak, he said, as he raised Samihata above his head and laughed. You can never kill me, said Shigetsu. So that only leaves one option, me, beating you down. Seems like you're stupider than I thought, said Naruto. Shigetsu eye twitched. What? You heard me, miss, said Naruto. As he jumped back, Shigetsu swung his blade at him with nothing but rage. As the two-tailed Jinchuriki watched, she had tried to fight them off, but yet they both beat the crap out of her. She didn't stand a chance. But here was this man playing with them. He was playing with them, and he was not even using all the 9 tails. As Naruto didn't stop, Shigetsu smirked as he swung his blade, thought he had the perfect opportunity. As Naruto did not try to dodge, the blade slammed right into him. As Naruto raised his hand, as he catched Samihata, as he grinned, almost like he was mocking Shigetsu. Is that it? Naruto asked. What the hell? Shigetsu said, suddenly finding himself afraid of someone other than Leader Sama when he was angry. As Naruto watched the blade trying to eat away his chakra. Well, it couldn't eat fast enough. Do you even know the inner workings of your blade? Said Naruto, as he gripped it. He started to pour more of his chakra in the blade. What are you doing? Said Shigetsu, as he could not pull Samihata away or even release the blade. He was confused, as Naruto did not answer for a while, until he then smirked right back at Shigetsu again. Did you know the reason why your blade can eat so much chakra is because it had its own small system which it channeled that chakra through? What the hell are you talking about? Shigetsu said. I mean, Missy, as we speak I'm channeling the Kyuubi's chakra into your sword, and as I'm sure you're starting to feel, it is growing quite hot in temperature. Shigetsu realized that the handle was getting quite hot. His hand started to boil, and bubble as steam started to erupt from it. Even worse, as he couldn't release, the boiling effect was traveling up his arm. He screamed as he tried to release it, but to no avail. Don't bother trying to let go. The Kyuubi's chakra has locked your grip onto the blade. You said I couldn't kill you. Well, I guess I just had to find a way to defeat water, said Naruto. So I guess I'll just turn you into steam. Shigetsu screamed. But guys, be in episode right here. If you want something important, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications I posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.